Good afternoon, ladies.
Hey, Sally,
Hello, everybody.
haven't seen you in a while.
Well, I haven't been around in a while.
Hi, Sally. You're an unexpected guest, a visitor. How nice to see you.
Well, thank you. The truth is, I've been trying to get in for a while, but it just kept missing the spot, so to speak.
Well,
You've
it
had
doesn't open.
reorganization, I think.
No, it doesn't open until I generally open it or start it.
Mhm.
Everybody,
Hi there.
Hi, Alice.
good to see everybody.
Nice to see you too.
Yes.
It's been a busy day for everyone.
Oh, tell me about it.
That's okay. So she's here. Okay.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay.
And I will call this meeting to order. And bam, that was my gavel. Okay, so the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area is a nonpartisan grassroots civic organization that encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of major public policy issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. Okay, so Liz, would you call the roll, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on just a second. Let me get a time. Okay. That is
It's 5:02.
That's Alex, right? Isn't that Alex?
Yes.
Yeah, there's Alex. Okay, so Alex is here too. So now we have 7. Give me just a minute to get the paperwork completed before I do that. Okay, all right. And the meeting started at
5:02.
5:02. Okay, all right. Okay, let's call roll. Alice,
Here.
Liz, here. Sandy,
Here.
Julie, Sylvia, I saw her
Here.
sweet face. Eli, I saw her. There she
Here.
is. And Alex.
Here.
Okay. Okay, great. So we have,
No, make a note that Brittany is not here and Tim is not here.
Right, I've got that. And then we
Okay.
have Chris here as non-voting, but a director. And then we have the guests, which are Sally and Anel. Okay,
Okay,
so okay, so I'm done. Tell me what
okay,
else.
so. Okay, you
Well,
received,
there's Ruth is here and
Yeah,
she's the
she's here.
chair of the nominating committee.
Oh, Ruth's here. Okay, I didn't see her
Yes.
down at the bottom. Thank you.
okay,
Thank you. Okay, I've got
And
her.
she's the
checked off.
chair of the nominating committee.
Right, I've got that and everything. She's been invited, or at least I've been sending her stuff every single meeting. And she was here
Good.
last month. So
Well,
anyway,
we can always count on her and everyone else. Thank you.
yes. Okay, all right. And
okay. Have you guys had a chance to preview the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
It's been moved by Sylvia. Get a second, please.
Second.
Who
Was
seconded
that
it?
Sandra,
Right.
Okay, Sandy. Okay.
Sandy? Huh? It's been moved in second that the minutes be accepted. All in favor? Say aye or raise your hand, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, the ayes have it. The minutes stand approved as read. We're gonna move right into our reports. Now Sylvia has to leave at 6, so if it's all right with you, Sandy, I'd like to move Sylvia up to the top of the list. That way, Sylvia, you can go ahead and give us your report.
Thank
And
you.
then we will excuse you.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Are you,
Yes,
Are we
it's
ready?
you,
Yeah, go ahead.
you're on.
okay,
Mhm.
You're on.
You're on.
that was quick. All right,
Yep.
well, I'm sorry I was late about sending in the report, but we have 136 members. Did y'all receive the report? I did break it down.
Yes, the
Okay.
list.
Yes, the list. And just right before our meeting, I went ahead and printed out the expired membership. And I think it's about 80. It's pretty bad.
Wow.
So anyway, so I was going down the list to see if, because honestly, I've never have seen or the letters that the system sends. You know, I think it was set up by Catherine or our president. So we need to check how these letters are going out.
Generated.
Yeah. And check with that first to see, are the people receiving letters? I don't know. And the other issue that I wanted to bring up is I did receive a call from one of our members about, she happens to be a friend of the league, and she would like to renew, and I did check her status, and it has been expired. It expired last month. So we haven't decided or talked about or discussed how do we determine who we can help or how we can help. Can we, discuss that? And I
have
do
that.
see Sandy's hand up. Sandy, did you have a?
Actually, that was before. It was when you mentioned how many we had that haven't renewed. Remember, about 30 of those are students and probably will not renew.
Yeah, and we'll have to, acknowledge that and I'll, remove those. But as we can clean them up, I know there's still a lot, that I see that I know would renew. Cornelia Gates, Teresa Carrillo, I mean, Joy Miller, John Bell. It's a lot of, names that we know. So we really do need I really do need help with this. And like I said before, we didn't do it because I don't know, I ended up getting busy. Everybody else got busy. But I still would like to break down this list. And I know, Chris, you had volunteered before. But if we could work on that, this is a good week for me. I don't know about you guys, but I could probably dedicate some time this week to do it if y'all are up for it. So anybody volunteer?
Sylvia, I had volunteered also. I know Chris and I had volunteered to make these phone calls a couple of months ago. And I think we got busy with some of the other events and did not get that done. I'm still willing to call. So what I'd like to see you do is break that list out and divide it evenly.
Yeah.
And you can send me my group and I will make some calls. Now, I may not make them all at the same time or the same day, but I will make my calls if you will send me that list. And you said we have once you go through and
clean it up, like clean up the
Yes.
students that we know
Yes.
are not gonna renew, but yeah,
Yes.
we still have a lot of good members that I know that they just needs a little bit of encouragement, and especially if they get a
Yes.
call from one of our board members, I think it'll be fruitful. So,
Yes.
okay, that's gonna
So
be my mission for tomorrow, okay? So
Yes.
expect
Okay.
a list. Okay.
Okay. So you mentioned lapsed members. I have that at the bottom for the last half
Okay.
hour or so.
Okay, good.
You'll probably be gone, but we can talk about that and whatever decision that's made on that,
Yes.
we'll pass it on to you.
Okay, great. All right,
Okay. Okay.
that's it for my
All right.
report. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So who's willing to make phone calls? So she can send that out. Okay, we have Chris with her hand up, Sandy.
If she has the
Julie.
lawyers separated out, I can talk to all the lawyers easily.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so Sandy says send her the lawyer list.
I can
So we
try.
have,
What I can do is I'll send her the total list and then she can decide which ones to call first and then, how about that, Sandy?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so Chris, Alice. Okay,
Sandy and Julie.
Yeah, I have my hand up just because,
Yeah,
yeah,
oh,
Julie.
thank you. Thank you so
Well,
much.
well, I will try them and I think it can be okay. I just want everyone to know we're on baby watch, so.
Oh, yes.
We got
Okay,
a grandbaby coming and you know, those are always different circumstances, so
okay,
we probably have to, if we have to rush to San Antonio, it could interrupt phone calls, that's all,
Okay.
so.
Yes,
It's,
Alex, yes.
Just
but
let
I-
me
Yes,
know who
Alex.
you need to call if you end up having to go to San Antonio, and I probably can get them called sometime this week.
All right.
And me too. I think as long as I know that I have like a little bit of help, it just helps me, I think psychologically, like, okay, I'm not alone, you know, if I need, but I know that I can get to it. And it feels better when I know I've got help.
Okay, can I ask Sylvia, would you be willing to write just a short script for all of us? So we'll
Yes.
all be saying the same thing?
Yes,
And send that to us and then we can get busy,
yes. Okay,
okay?
great.
Madam President, may I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Sylvia and I have talked and the league membership efforts, you know, have been so strong all these years. I think from my perspective, when Club Express came on board, and everybody had to log in, which many of our
Mhm.
members may not have done ever. So I don't even know if
Yes.
they're getting, you know, reminders, but we used to have the list and we knew if all of us expired in May, that we could do a quick email and say, don't forget, in the next 30 days, please join. And we've really lost a very personal link with Club Express. And
Yes.
I don't know what the answer is, but if they never logged on, maybe they're never getting a renewal letter. I don't know. So
Yeah,
Well, I
got a
know
renewal
that some,
notice, you know,
I
but
know
I had
that
logged
some,
on. So.
okay, I know that some are getting that notification. I know that that is happening because I talked with a particular member who got that notification. So maybe some of are getting and others aren't. But we'll need to, I'll try to get with, I guess that would be maybe Sylvia and Brittany or a
Well,
couple of them.
yeah.
Let's see if we can't figure out what's going on and
Okay.
find out, and
And
then we
Chris,
can report back.
yes, Chris. I mean, and you know what? We could do that every month because we could run the report by the expiration date. So we can tell who's going to be expiring. I mean, so
Yeah.
that could be another way for us to have a handle as to, all right, you know, it looks like, you know, 10 are going to be expiring at this time or whatever.
That'd be really easy to do with emails. It doesn't even have to be many of these. See, I was concerned that Todd Hunter was on the list.
He is on the list.
And I know Debbie Noble was going to reach out. Debbie and I talked because we were trying to figure out one of his staff members, Gay White, was it Gay? Was always a member. And so neither one of them are there. So I don't know what's happening in his office, but Debbie was going to make a call. And I'm sorry, I didn't follow up with that because I
Yeah.
thought maybe his check would come in if he got a call from Debbie and some others that are on the island and used to drop in his office all the time. So,
Yes.
but
Okay.
I think we're going to have to do something or be back in 1995 mode when we only had about 70. So
Yeah,
Uh,
no, we can't let that happen.
I
We
know,
work too
I know.
hard,
And we're getting
so-
some new members, you know, and they need to get a letter from somebody that says, we're so glad we got your check. We're so glad you joined. I just think there's a connection missing and I'm not sure how to remedy it.
Okay, so maybe Alice and you and I can talk about it after, you know, maybe tomorrow or so, because I have a meeting at 6, but it's something that we do need to talk about. And I think it does require a more personal touch. Like you say, I guess they received the email, but
Expiration notice.
Well, I
Yeah,
can tell you that we get billed monthly for the renewal notices that go out. We were billed for one in October.
okay.
how much is it?
63 cents.
Okay, 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 so, all right, Julie has her hand up.
Sandy had hers up before me.
Well, I
Well,
just
she just
said what
got
I
done.
needed to say.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, this discussion's great. And that the students, yeah, I just think we should just take them off. Like, it was a good try, but when you look at the numbers, don't think that they're there. Let's start making the phone calls though, Sylvia. You're
Yes.
totally right. Everyone is. Here's our challenge is going to be, we're going to be up against the calendar. Because as one of my mentors always called, Thanksgiving and Christmas is like black holes of organizing. So, and that's when people are spending money. So they might not renew then. So if we can get the calls started like soon, I think that's good. And then though, maybe, because I'm starting to look to January as well, to come up more, maybe we need to make sure like in January, even if we did a phone bank and called a bunch of people, something that was a little jazzy,
Mhm.
and do some outreach, because I think all efforts are good until then, but I don't know if people are really going to move a lot until January. And then when you write the script, I think a big deal is going to be
We need
the
to give-
elections. that
Yeah,
are
we
coming
need
up.
to give them a strong reason to join the league.
It's got to be the voting in elections this year.
Mhm.
I think,
I mean,
I-
always, but this is a make or break year in almost every way possible. So
Liz?
yeah, I think, am I on? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, you
Yeah.
are. Yes, you
Oh,
are.
okay. I think doing it now is a wonderful idea, but you're right about the black hole. That's why I didn't volunteer to make phone calls this month and next month, because it's just too much right now. But I'll be happy to do it in January. And I think January would be a really good time to do a blitz with everyone, because we're only then 2 months out from the primaries. And
But I'd
really
suggest
encourage it.
February. I'd suggest February after you've paid the January bills.
Well, we could spread it out, Sandy. But I think if we do something, a blitz like mid-January to mid-February to really, and we can, say, don't forget to vote, blah, 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 renew your membership, do a couple of little things in there with it. Those are my thoughts. So I'll be happy to do it in January, Sylvia.
Okay,
When you put that list together, I'll be happy to make phone calls. And I think a lot of people like getting the emails. I know with phone calls, lots of times, if you don't know who's on the other end, you just leave a voice message and all. So anyway, okay, that's my bit. I'm done.
thank you.
Okay, so we can do a couple of things. We can make phone calls, we can send emails, because some people are checking their emails every day, others aren't. Then you've got people who are listening to their messages and not checking their emails. So I think if we do a combination of those things, I think we can probably hit quite a few people, depending on what they prefer, their preferred mode of communication. So we can do that. All right. Okay, is that all you have, Sylvia?
Yes,
Okay, all right. Thank you for that report. So we're going to move back up now to the top of the list, and we are going to be calling for the treasurer's report. Sandy, you're on.
Okay, I have provided you almost all of the financials since I took over. I didn't give you June. July, nothing has changed, except, as I think I told you guys at the last meeting, my spreadsheet is not carrying over totals, so I'm manually totaling them. So that's why you have January and August. I mean, July and August, I apologize. September and October, you have, and I'm open for questions. The ending balance for October was $12,059.86. I've updated the WEQ report because we're still bringing in money on it. I've gotten a couple of seat payments. I will be inventorying the swag in the next week or two. The most important thing, we're getting some charges from Club Express I don't understand, so I hope to follow up on that. The two most important things the treasurer will be doing in the next couple of months are, one, we're supposed to be, excuse me, big LWV is supposed to be installing in about a year a new membership platform that's going to change the way we are reimbursed for memberships. It is possible, I put this in my report, it's at the very end of the report on the issues to consider. There's supposed to be a meeting Thursday that was set at a time when I'm not going to be able to necessarily attend. I have to see whether I can excuse myself from something I'm in and attend it or not. I don't know. But essentially, it's going to be a straight 20%. We get 20%, national and state get 80%, which will kill our, and $20 minimum for a membership, which will kill our student membership program in its current form. It will give us more from the individual and household memberships, as I understand it. But the sustaining membership, we are going to need to ask people to quit doing that. We know we've been encouraging that lately. We're going to ask people to quit doing that and just give donations instead of doing a sustaining app if that goes into effect. The only
Well, I
other
think-
thing is,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
oh, I mean, I was going to say the only
ahead.
other thing is I'm looking at Square because it's expensive and they're not working with us, and I'm really kind of tired of fighting with them.
Okay.
So.
Well, Sandy, maybe we can get together and kind of have a little quick discussion on that. In terms of the changes that are going to be made and how they collect money from us. And we got something in an email last year that kind of it was canary in the coal mine telling us that there was going to be some changes in the way funds were collected and all of that. So I guess this is that's finally coming to fruition.
Forward that to me if you still have that, just because I've never gotten anything formal, because I came in, I think, after the decision was made and, just been
Okay.
hearing about it.
I'll see if I can't find that. If anybody else can find it. I know we got that. And Catherine forwarded it to us. It was quite a bit. It was a big batch of information, but I'll try to find that because it kind of lined out or gave us a flow chart of how things were going to change. And so I'm assuming at this point that this is the beginning of those changes to be made. So we can do that. And if anybody finds it before I do, please, by all means, rescue me out of my, sea of emails. If you find it before I do, and let's just send it to Sandy. I would certainly appreciate that. Are there any other questions regarding Sandy's, report?
No, just on the dues changes. I think Catherine sent us those for sure, and we can ask her as well, and I'll look. But while we have Chris, who's has decades of experience with the league,
Not that long, not that long.
but it seems to me like there are going to be. They indicated there would be changes, but I don't remember there being like a vote on the changes and things like that. There's a convention coming up, a state and national. And it seems to me maybe that's something that has to go through a national convention, but I don't know. So that's what I was going to ask. And Sally, if you know, or anybody else.
And I thought I saw also an email about encouraging us to write our own letter saying that we didn't agree with that. I don't know.
That was from Denver. Denver is bucking it.
Denver is, opposing it. And that's something that we as a chapter needs to discuss and come to some kind of consensus as to whether we are going
Yeah.
to oppose that
Right.
or if we're going to go along with that, because, if some of these other chapters are pushing back, there's probably a very good reason why they are pushing back, and perhaps we probably need to figure out whether we need to be pushing back or not.
Actually, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It never hurts to advocate for yourself, because eventually I think that they will do what they are going to do, but at least your voice will be heard. And I think when we went to Club Express, that was another issue that probably should have been kind of pushed back on, of which we did not do. But sometimes when we don't move, we eventually see that at some point in time, it was not advantageous for us. So, yes, Chris, go ahead.
Just from a historical viewpoint, the student membership had been $20 for a long, long time. And it was only until about 4 or 5 years ago that national dropped it to 5, the state dropped it to 5, and national said we wouldn't have to reimburse for that, so that we were saving the 5. So I'm not surprised that it's going back up, and it may symbolize the fact that national is not doing well financially like all other national organizations. You know, I've heard from 3 that I'm a member of, and they're cutting back, they're changing staff, they're letting staff go. And I don't know if that's the LWVUS, but the $20 was a very standard for student members for years.
Okay, Sandra?
Well,
Sandra?
there are two other things that I haven't mentioned tonight, but one is it will be a separate platform, which means there is a good possibility that we're paying Club Express $30 a month to use Club Express, which, you know, we might be able to get rid of if we wanted to, if we want to take that on. But 2, membership is going to be in a separate platform. It will not be in Club Express. And because of that, my inclination is to say, we're going to be paying another monthly fee to that platform. And that money goes directly to state and national, and then they will reimburse us the 20%, as opposed to the way we're doing it even now, which is the money comes in, they take theirs, but it comes directly to us. So the other thing is that most other organizations have much higher fee. From what I understand, they have much higher annual dues. And
Yes.
so for them, this is going to be a substantial cut to their income. It may not actually affect us the same way, except with the sustaining, which we don't have that many of. And most of the sustainers, I suspect, would be more than happy to do their membership and then go give money somewhere else. It just means it takes them 2 strokes instead of 1. So in that regard, it may not hurt us as badly as, say, it hurts Denver. But again, those are questions that, because I don't have all the details, and, you know, again, I think everybody needs to know before we make a decision on what position we want to take.
Well, I'll
Okay.
be on that call on Thursday, Sandy, that that you and I were asked to be on. I'll be on that, and I'll just try to take copious notes and get a good understanding of what it is we're buying into or not. And then we can come back, report to the executive committee, and we can maybe take a vote on what we should if we should even start pushing back, or if it's something that we want to be a part of. We
I'm
gotta
gonna try
have
to be on it.
information.
Just don't know.
We have to have information. If you have any questions that you think I ought to ask, you can send them to me. However, having said that, it is really difficult to pose questions in front of the presentation. And so, you know, I'll try to do my best at in drilling down on some of that stuff, but we'll see. And what I'll do is maybe ask for a transcript of that meeting, and you can view it at your convenience. And then if we have other questions, then we can probably take them to whoever's going to run that meeting. I know who she is, but I can't call her name right now.
Elaine,
So-
it's Elaine, I think.
Elaine, yeah, Elaine Wyant. So,
Wyant.
okay, so if there's nothing else on that, we'll just kind of move ahead. Our Vice President's report from Program Study and Advocacy. Julie, first of all, I'd
Right.
like to thank you for setting that meeting up at the library. It was quite an excellent meeting. Thank you so much.
That's very
Oh.
good.
It was good. And one of the best thing about it was not only the speakers, but the group effort, because I had the COVID and I was out of town before that. Y'all really moved that ball. So thank you, everyone. And I hope it helped everyone. But because, you know, even before the wild card, which I call the baby, because we don't know when it's coming, and the COVID. We don't have a membership meeting or event planned for November. Our goal was to have 2 membership meetings by January, and then 2 after that, because bylaws require us to do that. And I feel, especially from this meeting, I think we're all doing a great job. But I explained to my husband earlier, like everybody has like, they're triple busy. Like I might be the least busy of all of y'all, and I feel like I'm kind of busy, but y'all are amazing. And I feel though we need to pull back a little as a board and celebrate each other and keep doing our work, but kind of, you know, firm up a plan, and program totally fits into that, needless to say. And, you know, part of the benefit of the membership dues and the money going to the state is they are involved in the special session right now. And so we're monitoring that, and I suspect that it's not an issue that's going to be over. And so we probably, if something's going to happen between now and the end of the year, we should do some kind of action about these school vouchers. But I don't have anything planned. And if anybody has ideas, please let me know. But I know that Alex and Alice have done some work on it, and I appreciate that. But right now, if we were programmatically, if we're going to focus on something, it's the vouchers. Is a problem. There's 2 local problems, 3, excuse me. Number 1, elections. And so after we get through tomorrow, we can see what worked and what didn't work, and really kind of, you know, plan our advocacy for next year to make sure that that our elections are going to run okay in the primary, and then, you know, later on I've had some people say some problems, so we got to make sure that happens. And we already knew in the early voting there wasn't voting on the college campuses, and that's all going to, the voter people, you can cover that. But that's why we should like take some time to figure out and fine tune all our work, and including program. But there's a potential call to action on vouchers. The other 2 local things, other than voting, would be transparency in the government. There's a lot of stuff going on about that right now. And then thirdly, we all know that we just did the readout for banned books. And so now there's 5 openings on the library board. 3 people will probably be reappointed, 2 can't. I'm one of them. So there's 2 openings for the library board. And this group who is not for freedom to read and doesn't support the American Library Association freedom to read rights could possibly get some folks onto the library board. So we should monitor that. And that's all. That's what I have to say. Any questions?
Thank you, Julie.
Julie, how do we get on I mean, how do we apply for the library board? Because there's like 3 different levels. It's like there's the Friends of the Library, and Alice on the Friends. Aren't you on the library board too, Alice?
I'm on the library board. Friends of the Library is a spinoff or an additional group that
Right.
supports the library, but it is
Right.
separate. If
I
there
can,
was a,
yeah, I can post it. I mean, I can put it, look it up and put it on the chat.
There's, yeah, and
But-
there's tons of, you know, that there's lots of applicants, is my understanding.
There
The
is.
nominations will take place on the 14th, probably.
Of
The
November?
practice, yeah, so it's too late. What we could do with this is teach our members. I think a lot of us are really good about, you know, saying apply for board, and we really need to push that.
Yes.
When you look at the history of our local league, there was always our members involved in boards and getting appointed to committees, and that's what we need if we're going to have a voice in our local government. But the rules for applying for boards is you've got to do it 14 days before the appointment, and the appointment's on November 14th. So they're
I see that.
close. And I think that's okay. There's a lot of applicants, and I think, our city council will make some good decisions. The other thing though is there's tons of other board openings. There's a Port of
Yes.
Corpus Christi board. And so, we talked about, like, for now to the end of year, like, push membership and push not only membership in the league, but, participation and membership in local government. And
Okay, I wish I would have known about the library board, because I know I wrote a letter of support for Alice when she applied for it to Ben Molina. And I didn't realize there were more openings. I'm on the Landmark Commission.
that's good. Well,
board.
we could still write letters. There's I think we have members who have applied for the board.
Okay, well,
Uh,
good.
The
Good.
league could write a letter saying, I think we would have to kind of decide to do that today. But it is possible that the league could say we're supporting our league members who have applied and figure out who they are. Traditionally in the past, the practice has been to appoint people from each district so that there's representation from each district.
Mhm.
I from District 1, and there's hardly anyone that applied for the library board in District 1. I think Joy Miller did, and she is a member who needs to renew. But I think she's the only District 1 person, and we have 2 libraries in District 1. And so it would be rather ashamed to not have a District 1 person on the
Well,
library.
Alice, are you District 2? On the
Yes, I'm
library?
in Ben's district, but let me
Or
just
now
add to what
Sylvia's
she just
district,
said.
Yeah, okay.
Paulette contacted me a few weeks ago to ask me to send her some names of
Oh, good.
individuals and if they had not applied, to encourage them to apply.
Okay.
And I sent her 2 names
Okay.
that I felt were excellent choices. And she
Okay.
sent me back a message saying, "Thank you, Alice. These are the people that I thought would be good choices." So we're on the same page. So,
Okay.
and these are people who are not necessarily pushing to ban books and all of that. So
Okay.
I think that out of those people that have applied, I think we're going to get at least one good one for that extra spot. But in the
Okay.
future, I think who put that? It was Sylvia who put that link out there that where you can go and look at. You can actually go and apply. My
Yeah.
suggestion is to look at all of the vacancies and openings in the different committees and organizations, and see which one that you would like to apply to. Now, there are some different, some of those committees were in the charter for Corpus. Some of them were added later, and they do, all of them have kind of different requirements and whether or not you can, but just go online, and I think you can apply every 2 years. I think that's how long your application can stay on file, but you can look and see where there are vacancies coming up, because they're kind of staggered. All of those different committees are staggered.
I
But
was
we
just,
would, yes,
I
we
was
would
just,
really,
go ahead,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I
We
was
would
just
really,
concerned when Julie brought it up that this had slipped past us and all, but it
Mhm.
sounds like everybody's on top of it. I just was concerned about that and everything.
Yes.
Because I know there's different levels, because like Landmark Commission level is, my understanding, is not as high as like being on the library board. There's a different level of responsibility, just like the ethics committee. There's a different
Yes.
level of responsibility. So,
yes,
okay,
yes.
thank you.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah, the big one that's coming up is the port appointment.
Yes.
That always seems to draw a lot of attention.
Yeah, and it should, because there's a lot of things going on with the port that we really need to know about, because some
Yeah.
of this stuff that's going on It's not necessarily being put out there, and if we don't start beating the bushes and insisting that, you know, we have that information, if you don't ask, you won't get it. So that's that board business. Okay, is there any other discussion on that? Okay, Julie,
I just want to
thank you.
say, I think though, and it's good to go check and everything, and I think a lot of the people on the present right now check those. The problem is the city, it tries its best, but it is not the most friendly website to navigate through. And so people, unless you're very determined or have a passion, which is how I ended up on the library board, because I love books and the safety a library provides, you aren't gonna just go, it seems easier to apply than it is. And so our members aren't used to that. And we're gonna have to like really spoon feed and push people to do this. I know it seems like we shouldn't, but this is like, you know, participation and democracy are learned behaviors. And in my lifetime, I've seen that education stop. I don't know what all's happened, but it's maybe we're just overwhelmed with so much information, and that it seems logical to cull through this like very hard website to navigate. Because when I tried to recruit people to apply, you know, ultimately I would do what someone just did and put up the link. But we really have to like think about if we're going to have a voice in the community, one of the best ways is through voting. The other is through participating in these boards, and everybody on here has been on one. So I'm preaching to the choir. That's the problem, that it's limited. And so we have to figure out how to get our folks to join them. And that's it. It's
Okay,
not going to
I just
happen
have
naturally.
I just have a little quick story on that. When I applied for the library board, I was initially trolled by a couple of the council members, and my application actually went to the Office of Legal Representation to the lawyers for the city. And they sent this letter back saying, well, I got somebody forwarded the letter. It was an inner organizational letter, but somebody sent the letter to me from the city council, and they were questioning whether I was qualified, not qualified in terms of doing the work, but in terms of because I serve on the school board. As it turned out, they were going to try to can me. And I found out, and I went through every single one of those boards. I went online and went through every single board, and I cataloged every person that I knew that had sat on the school board and are sitting on some of those other boards out there. I wrote this letter and sent it to Paulette's office. And of course, they started sending me messages back. Oh, we thank you for all of your research and hard work. And then they made an excuse about the different the status of each one of those. Bottom line is the Office of Legal Representation sent to them, while she is not precluded from or prohibited from running. They talked about the I can't remember that term, but anyway, and they wanted to try to can me, but I did my research, and they could not, unequivocally, they could not fight me on it. So I ended up getting the appointment, but there's politics going on over there. Okay, but we still have to persevere. We have to get people on these boards so that we will know what's going on. Okay, I just wanted to share that story with you. Okay,
Thank you.
next person up is Voter Services with Alexandra, who loves to hit that heart button. That love button. I do too. I do too, Alex.
To make sure you know I'm listening. Cool. So I have a shorter update today, but I wanted to update for National Voter Registration Day with the League and with Texas Rising and different collaboration events. We hosted over those few days 5 different events and registered 58 people. So that was, I think, really great. We hit the courthouse, TAMUCC, and Del Mar, West Oso, and also another event at TAMUCC. So it was very busy, but very successful. So thank you to everyone who helped. And then for last day to register to vote, I had just got back from Europe. So it was a pretty, pretty hectic event, but we got to go and do voter registration drive at a class at TAMUCC, and 52 students got registered. So again, very successful, super fun. Yeah, it was great. And I think we have a good relationship with that professor, so we should definitely be back again. And then for the voter guides, I think it was very successful for my first time. Chris, thank you for your wisdom and your help throughout the process. Also Eli and really Liz and everybody who helped. For the guides, we had 11 people help distribute, actually 12, including myself, I think, 11 or 12, to 19 plus locations. So yeah, it was really great. The volunteers were super helpful. Yeah, I feel more mentally prepared for primary guides, at least the distributing process. And on that note, with primaries around the corner, I'm meeting with Eli this week, and they're going to help me with a game plan for the voter guides. I think Eli will be a really valuable resource for me, as it's my first time. And I know I'll be reaching out to Chris for sure, or Catherine, or whoever, just to make sure we're not doing things last minute. And Eli, I just added this, but I definitely want us to discuss the possibility of a candidate forum. I think that would be a really great thing to do. Or I mean, I think that's something that is always done, but I'm excited to be part of that. And then really the only VR event at this point that's coming up is the rescheduled Galilean Lutheran Church Community Fest. It has been moved to Saturday, November 18th, 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. I'm going to send an email within the, oh, Sylvia, do you have a question?
Oh, I was just going to mention after your report, but go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And I'll be sending an email probably tomorrow, or actually it probably won't be tomorrow because I'm going to be busy with election day, but Wednesday I will send an email looking for volunteers for the event and reaching out to people who had previously committed. As it goes, I will be out of town again for this event. So I need to coordinate with whoever I can to get supplies for them. I mean, hopefully it won't be as hot. Maybe we won't need a tent. We do have a tent available if needed. I'll probably discuss that with Eli, but if, I mean, it doesn't have to be Eli. I can drop off the supplies to someone else ahead of time. And I will just be out of town, but available, email, Slack, whatever, the 15th to the 29th. And in my notes, I linked, which I shared with Liz, I just linked the Excel sheet that I made for the voter guide distribution for this election, and also voter registration events 2022 through 2023. So yeah, that's what I have. So
Okay,
thank you.
now I have a question. What happened with the letter to include the Del Mar and the university locations? Did you get a response? Was there any movement?
Got your response from anyone. Yeah, no one responded. So I mean, I sent it to all the commissioners and their staff. I sent it to the Connie Scott, as well as Kara Sands, but yeah, there was absolutely no response from it, and the media seemed interested in it, so it was kind of disappointing.
Well, one thing that I did find out is that it is determined by the party the major parties. They have to approve it. So hopefully in the future, you'll meet with both party chairs
Yeah,
and make sure that those polling sites are included. I mean, because, like you said, y'all work so hard to get young people registered, and then they didn't even have like easy access to a polling location.
the thing is, I know, yeah, and I talked to Renee from Nueces County Dems, and it sounded like they didn't even know. Like, if they're approving this list, how did they not know that Tamisisi and Del Mar weren't on the list? Like, I don't know. I felt like I just kept getting talked into circles and sent different routes. And
Yeah,
I was told that because they hadn't had Tamisisi and Del Mar in the past as early voting locations, that's why they didn't do it.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's a
Can I-
dumb way to live life.
Alex,
Tamisisi has had an early voting location though before.
For the
Well-
constitutional amendments is what they said. But I mean,
Yeah,
Not only that, they have been short of workers.
Yeah.
And because of the shortage of workers, they couldn't open those centers without somebody working those centers. And so that lack of somebody being willing to work the polls played into the number of centers that they opened up in order for
Yeah.
early voting. And so I think that's also gonna affect our 2024 November election, unless we get on the stick and start encouraging people to become poll workers, poll watchers, all of those different things, so that people can feel safe in voting, and not only feel safe in voting, but also have some place that is convenient for them to vote. So that's gonna be something that we need to start looking at and paying attention to, so that we can actually make we can make some changes, because Kara, when you talk to Kara can be evasive. When you ask her a question that she doesn't want to answer, or she's not ready to answer, or whatever, she can be evasive. So we have to, we are a juggernaut, and I've always said that. And so we can move things when other groups can't, but it's our activism that does it. So I think that's part of the reason why that they didn't have locations everywhere, or
One
in
of-
places that I feel like should have been.
one other thing before I leave, because it's already 5:52 for me, but I know that we were short. It's a good thing and a bad thing that we were short in our voter guides. I don't know if you knew that, Alex, but people were scrounging around for voter guides, and there's no way to detect, how many to order or not order or whatever. But I can tell you, whatever was ordered for this was not enough, because we ran out.
I'm, yeah, it's like, you can do no right sometimes. I mean, yeah, because we ordered 2,000 in English and 1,000 in Spanish. And when I first distributed, I thought we would have too many, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just,
But they were a big hit, which is a great
That's good
thing.
to know.
Everybody was looking
Yeah.
for them. So anyway, I'm sorry I have to go. Oh man, and I mean, it's a great meeting. I'm sorry, guys, but okay, I'll have to catch
No,
up.
no
Yeah.
worries,
When
no
I-
Take
worries.
care.
Okay,
hi,
all right.
Sylvia.
I
Bye.
think maybe if
Bye.
we can, to kind of compensate for not enough voter guides, perhaps we might consider putting that PDF on our website, and
Yeah.
directing people to the website if we get in a situation where we are in a bind, where they can actually turn the page. And I know that Brittany can probably set that up where it becomes a page turner on the website, as if they were turning the pages in a voter guide. And I think that will be a big hit that will accommodate a lot of people, especially people who are into using their computers, and that will save them from having it run out. Because I got calls at the last minute too, wanting voter guides.
Wow.
Luckily, I was able to direct them over to the Lauritama. Lauritama had extras, and so I was able to do that. So I want to also comment, Alex, on let's see. Teresa Carrillo sent me a text message, or not text message, but she sent me an email, I think it was. And she went out and she physically went to a lot of the lower income neighborhoods. And she actually was able to put out some voter guides in Spanish at some of the small shops and small businesses in the community. And she said in that email that she was very surprised at all of those people who really wanted to engage in the process. And so these voter guides were a way of helping. So I think Alex, Alex, that at some point we might need to kind of edit that list that you have and add some other places on there that typically aren't visited, so that they can, because a lot of the Mexican restaurants, they get a lot of people in those restaurants that don't necessarily read or write English, but they do in Spanish. And so I think that that's going to be another location where we can actually distribute our Spanish voter guides. Okay, Alex, have you finished your report? Are you done?
Yeah, I don't know, Eli or Julie, if you had questions for me or if it was questions for someone else.
Julie?
I just have a
Well,
comment.
it was, I thank you for your work. It's amazing. And there's just like, maybe we should start, if we could get a list of what problems we ran into. And of course, it's always good to sandwich our conversations. So whatever worked really well would be good with the
Reflect.
voting. And I see Chris, that's really what I was going to say. This is Chris put in the comments, we need to start pushing county commissioners in early January. And I agree, but really we should be doing some front work right now. Like we should visit Kara and say like, this is what worked, this is what didn't, and we're coming back in January. Because if we don't start doing that now, we're going to lose this like opportunity. And it's pretty important. I'll tell you, we're going to have another one of those state reports to fill out. And that what they want to know is, and Alex provided a lot of good information already. They're tracking, they want to know locally how many people you register. Woof, you blew us off the charts already. It's like what, 110 for October. That's awesome. But they want to know, who did you talk to? What elected officials did you go and talk to? And it's something that we really don't do a lot. And they have said before, with the Observer program focused on elections, this whole year is going to be about elections and voting anyway. So that we should just, like Alice, if you have time, put together a little crew, go talk to Kara, because we got to have more than one person. And then, I'll talk to Sylvia about it. This is when we remind people to renew their membership, like this is why.
Yeah.
When we have our jazz festival here, they always say, oh, it's the longest running free jazz festival in the state of Texas. Well, guess what? It's not. It's that old adage, nothing in this life is free. The people like either volunteer or they pay to join the Jazz Society, and that's what lets you be able to go hear the music for free. It's the same thing as the guides, like that they aren't free. You did a great job getting out that many. That's amazing. What it indicates though is we're going to need more, right? And so we got to be able to communicate that to our membership, because I think there are people out there that will be more than happy to help finance and get voter guides out. We just need to have like the footwork and muscle to move it. And you certainly have all the evidence and work to show that it works. But thank you. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, and I saw like some other leagues are not even doing paper guides anymore. So like, it's crazy. And yeah, so I mean, we got to tell the community like we're doing a lot. So
We are.
Yeah.
Our community loves paper gods. I know that there's also there's a tendency to want to move us to electronic gods for that too, and they're all available all on 411. I think so people can find them. But we're a community that clearly I think likes voter gods, and I really think there's a need for the Spanish ones. So that was huge. That was like huge. We got all the Spanish gods out. Like you should just be walking around like a peacock, strutting your stuff. That's awesome.
Okay, we're gonna move right along. We're kind of a little behind our schedule, and I don't want to keep you guys any longer than we have to. I wanted to, our next person, is our, Tim is not here. So, he didn't have a report. Membership, Sylvia's already, she's one and done. So we're down to our social media, but Brittany's not on today, is she? Okay, so, we will leave that. I did want to go back up real quickly, to the, finance committee. I'm begging people for money. And I was able to get a couple of $100 from one of my friends that contributed to that. So, when you talk to your friends, ask them if they would be willing to donate a few dollars from their war chest to help us fund these voter guides, because at some point, eventually, if we continue to get those voter guides out and there's a call for them and a desire to have them, we're going to have to up our the number that we're going to be purchasing. So I just, I told this friend and she said, well, I'm going to help you, Alice. And so she wrote us a check. Yes, Chris, you had your hand up?
Well, I just wanted to remind everyone, the state guide was given to us free, and the board voted to spend a little bit of money, give Alex a little bit of money to order. But for
Mhm.
every primary and general election, we've ordered from 5,000 to 7,000
Mhm.
in English. And then for the presidential election, we ordered up to 10 about 4 years ago. So, and we had the funds to do it. And we've got a good commitment from the Houston Chronicle printing press. They've already been in touch with the Caller Times. They can ship, they'll do the printing, but we need to let them know pretty quickly whether we're going to try Spanish or not. And we need to see, is translation going to cost us much? So that Alex has some good numbers to work with, because we can't order something if we don't have the funds to pay for it. So let's be real
Right.
cautious. And the PDFs are always on our website. I sent them
Yes.
to Brittany. I'm assuming they were there. The state posted Vietnamese, simplified Chinese, and their English version. And we received all three as well. So I don't know if did they make it to our website? I sent it to Brittany, the English and the Spanish version. Does anybody know? On our
Yes,
website?
yes.
And we've always posted the PDF, and a good way to get the message out is to let the community know that if they get to a site and there's not a paper copy, they can go online for free and they can read online, and printing out a 12 or 16 or 20 pager, if you go black and white, is not that hard to do on your own computer. So, we sometimes just need to let people know there are options if we should run out of copies. So,
Well, that's a good idea, Chris, and we can also do a public service announcement and let people know that they can go online and get that if they, want one and there's not a physical copy available. We can get a public service announcement to put that out there so that people will know. Thank you. All right. Brittany's not here. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. They, them, Eli.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with y'all. Wow, sorry. Give me just one moment. Here we go. Hopefully y'all can see my screen. Okay, how's that?
That's good.
Good. Okay, cool.
Great.
So this month, I don't have an actual report. I'm not going to make you watch a video, but I am excited to announce that I am ready and excited to start putting together the DE&I committee for 2024. So my focus will be recruitment for the next 2 months. I have a little graph here, hoping, excuse me, hoping to start those meetings in January of 2024. Oops. So I just have 3 goals for this, is that we make this committee a representative body comprised of a variety of demographics within our group, and ensuring that marginalized communities are centered and leading the conversations. The second goal is to establish function and set a strategy. I feel like with Julie and program, we always have an eye for the DE&I lens, and I appreciate that. So I hope to help Julie with that and really define how our committee is going to enhance the quality for all of our membership, as well as set strategic goals, not goals. Sorry about that, y'all. It didn't pick it up because it wasn't spelled incorrectly. It was just the wrong word. So strategic goals around engagement, not just with our membership, but with our community as well. And then the third one is to increase interaction through inclusion. So we're going to work to ensure that all the events continue to be seen through this lens of DE&I, and really fine tune how we can pull more people in and make everyone feel included and comfortable at all of our events and meetings. And if anybody wants to join in or learn more about the goals for the committee, please reach out to me. Short and sweet. That's really all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Thank you, Eli. I got a chance to view your presentation before we went online. So thank you so much for always having something that that's tangible, that's readable. We appreciate that. Okay, so that gets us to the end of our regular board reports. I wanted to have a short discussion. I'm running my clock kind of fast, so I think it's about 6 or 7 minutes after 6. Is that correct? Somewhere in, okay. So I have a couple of things on the league business that I wanted to kind of bring forth and have you guys to think about, and then at some point in time bring back to the group anything that you have on this. I wanted to talk. I have that funding for lapsed members. That was what Sylvia has brought up earlier in the meeting, and I had spoken with her, and there's at least one member that I know of whose membership has lapsed. She's a friend of the league, and I know that she does not have money to renew her membership, but she wants to be a part of the organization. She and her family have kind of fallen on hard times for various reasons and whatever, but I'm not sure that I even know how we have those funds for scholarships for memberships. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, okay.
Yes,
So
because
what?
I've donated money.
Yes, and so
I
have
don't know if
I.
it's a line item or how it's listed. I think it's listed as a line item for just for that instance.
For
I know I
memberships.
just donated a membership, the cost of a membership a couple of years ago for exactly the circumstances you just listed.
Right. But my question is, I'm not sure of this, and I didn't have time to kind of research it out. But with that fund that we have set aside for membership dues, do we have to take that through a vote? Does anybody know, or is it okay? So Elizabeth says no. So what I'd like to do is get with Sandy and Sylvia and see if we can't fund this particular individual for her Friends of the Friends of the League, which is, I think, a $30 commitment, and pay for her dues. So I wanted to bring that. Does anybody have any comments or concerns about that? I have not given in the last month or so, but I need to, I had made a pledge to give monthly money to support members who are kind of, falling by the wayside for whatever reason or other. So I will talk with Sylvia and I will talk with Sandra about that particular individual, and we'll go ahead and see if we can fund her membership.
May I suggest you just make a standing committee of the president, the treasurer, and the membership chair for the use of those funds? Does anybody have any, I mean, to me, it just seems like that might be the easiest thing to do.
Okay, well, we can make it kind of, I would say, an ad hoc as needed. And those myself, you, and Sylvia can have those conversations as needed. If anybody else knows of someone who is struggling and they are, they want to be members, and just let us know, because, unless we know that, because I've helped this particular person several times with groceries and stuff like that. So we can maybe keep that membership up. Okay, the next thing, there is a call for a voter registration chairperson. And that's in Alex's wheelhouse. And anybody want to have a comment on that? Whose suggestion was that? Whoever suggested that, would you like to speak on that?
Madam President, I have no vote on the board, but I try to send you some notes as I think of things that might need to be addressed from time to time. And Alex has got a lot of things on her plate. She and Eli have been great working together. When Raul Ramirez was on the board as a chair, that seemed to really take some pressure off of the vice president for voter services. And so I may have been the one that suggested, he served 3 or 4 years. I don't know. I don't think he's ready to come back on, but, and Alex gives some thought to it, but if we want to do, I don't know if we're going to try to do any voter registration in January with high schools to maybe get them ready for the primary. Alex and I we've talked about other things, Alex, and I don't want to get into your bailiwick, but it might be helpful, at least maybe after the primary, to see if there might be someone that Alex can identify that will kind of take on some of the voter registration between then and the presidential, just to give, involve some more people and be helpful to whoever needs some help. So just an idea.
Well, I definitely agree with that.
Is Ruth currently doing that? I'm not sure.
Ruth
Ruth has been involved in voter registration, but she's not been a chair in recent years.
She's our nominating committee chair for this cycle. She was on, I don't know if she's still on. I think she might be still on. I can't see everybody.
I'm on it. I am on, and I'm getting ready to work at the polls tomorrow. So I'm trying to put things together for that.
Okay, well, I tell you what, if anybody knows of anybody, or you're talking to someone and they express a desire to be part of that operation, please contact me or send me an email or text message and let me know, and then we can get together with Alex and whomever is asking or being willing to join, because we do need to take a little bit of load off of some of these positions. Liz?
Real quickly, I know of several members who have said they were interested in doing the voter registration deputy stuff, but they didn't want to do it long term. What if we had like a group of 4 that they would kind of split up the duty. So it wouldn't always just be like, well, Raul was always having to find people, or Alex always having to find people, that if we had like a group of 4 people that work together, that kind of split up, like, okay, I'll take the high schools and you take the senior citizens, or you take, is that a good idea? Or not? Or is it
There's
too many
always,
cooks, so to speak?
well, I don't know that we would need, all of them would necessarily be chairpersons, but
No.
to have that group of 4 where one person would serve as a chairperson and direct the business and direct the activities would be good. And that chairperson could work with Alex and even Ruth, because Ruth is our premier signer-upper for that. But I think we should probably do something in January for this reason why, especially at the high schools, because they sign those students up in the government classes, and they only have government one semester. So they're going to get a new crop of students in January for the government classes. So that would be a new group of students who can be tagged to see if they want to sign up for voter registration.
I
So-
would love the help. It would be great.
Exactly. Okay.
Especially if
Okay,
someone
all
was
right, Alex, let
contact
me
with high
talk
school.
to you after tomorrow. Let me talk to you in the coming weeks, because that's something I'm really interested in. I've been kind of in the back of my mind thinking about stepping forward into filling Raul's shoes, because my term as far as secretary ends in May. So
Okay.
Good
let me
idea.
think about it. Let me pray about it, and then I'll
I
get
would
with
love
you
it.
next week. So let me think about it and pray. Okay, I'm done.
Well,
Okay.
we'll all be on our knees for you, Liz. I don't get on my knees anymore right now since I got new knees, and they're not quite healed enough, but I do say a lot of prayers, a prostate. I'll be lying down. But anyway, so Liz, you and Alex can have a discussion on that.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
do it
so-
next week, Alex, if that's okay
Okay.
with you. Let's do it next week.
Okay, great. Alex.
Yeah. If you can shoot me an email, I will be out of state next
Well,
week.
let's do it when you come back. Why don't you reach out to me when it's convenient?
Okay, like the end of November.
And we can do it then, because that'll work out fine. Because December is actually going to be a little calmer than November. So yeah, so when you get back, and that'll give me time to think about it and pray and do that. And Thomas Huck says, you better be still doing your exercises, Alice.
I am. I'm
Oh, okay.
moving every day.
Okay.
I am.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. Okay.
I have March 24 for discussion. And please forgive me. My apologies to whomever sent me a suggestion. Was that you, Chris? Was it you?
Probably. I'm a really great phantom writer. Yeah.
Somebody sent me a message that maybe we could pare down the event and just have a vote, a march or something. I'm so sorry I didn't pull that up and have all the information.
I think that was me.
Was it you? Okay, well, can you tell us what you sent to me? I got a lot of things going on, so if you don't
Right.
mind.
If I can remember, I think it was just, not to try to make it such a grandiose affair, since as it has been with all of the speakers and all of the vendors and so on and so forth. And I don't remember, actually somebody recommended it to me. It might have been Sandy and I talking. I don't know, but just paring it down and making it what it was initially, when I think Sandra Heatherly and Lois kind of began with it. And it was a march. We had a speaker to send us off, and we had a speaker at the end. And that was we furnished some water. And that was pretty much the long and short of it. And we had a good turnout. And, you know, if we keep the same organizations involved in recruiting their members to join us, then that might, because it's like come January, everybody jumps on the bandwagon and we would start doing everything and it just became very intense for 2 months. But getting anybody to do that, getting anybody to solicit donations to help with the event, all of that is difficult because we're all a bunch of adult women with lives that, and we're committed to other organizations and so on and so forth. And don't get me wrong, everybody that did get involved did a wonderful job. But I'm thinking rather than trying to continue to throw this event together in 2 months, it might be a good idea to just, make it a March, which is what it was meant to be.
Okay, thank you for
Just make
that.
one more thing, just to make sure that it has a visible route for the march.
Okay. And I've been in conversations with several people on that. One of the situations or issues that we had is originally about the money that has been put on the budget for that event. And I know that Sandra, her husband, had some issues, and then she then had some health issues, and so it is such an intense event to try to plan for. And Ellen and I were talking, and she indicated that so many of those groups in that organization, I think it was about 11 that was participating in it. Several of them have stepped away from the March. They have said that they would not participate. So at some point, we're going to have a conversation on the budget item that's sitting there in that budget for that event, because we know that some of the people that put money into that, they earmarked it for that event, and we need to find out. And there was a letter written when Catherine was our president, that was sent to these donors, asking them if we could move that money into for another fund or event. I don't have all the ins and outs. I do remember that. So we're going to have to deal with that as well. That budget item for, I think it's right now $3,000. I believe that's what's earmarked for that.
I think it's
and so-
down to about 2,400.
That's what the
Okay.
budget finance report.
Okay, so $2,400, we've got to make a decision on that. But I do agree that perhaps we need to pare this down to just a simple gathering, do a march, a block or two, and commend that date in that manner, because because as it stands right now, last year, our organization headed up that whole organizing of that
No,
event.
that's not quite true.
Well,
There
there were
were,
quite a few people, but we ended up being at the tip of the spear for organizing that, our people. So so I don't want to put a lot of extra activity on our people, because we are all still asking for additional people to fulfill our agenda. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. If anybody has any comments or you have suggestions, you can send them to me, and we'll be able to put all that together and have a discussion.
can I make one suggestion for people to cogitate on?
Yes.
The funds that are there, I think something that would be a positive for all of the organizations that are involved, and I'd be happy to contact them and find out, is rather than just putting all that money, back into the league, because in essence, it is not really all ours. But y'all think about this. If we did a scholarship each year, that might be a good way to dispense that money that I think everybody could agree on and say, yes, I'm fine with the money doing that. We had a good scholarship committee. We didn't have many responses for it, but anyway, that's my 2 cents and something for you to think on.
Okay, well, can I add, I'll get you in just a second, Julie. You would you be willing to be appointed as an ad hoc chairman to just find out, contact those groups and find out if they are willing to donate that money? Would you do that for us?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so right now I'm making an executive decision to appoint you as an ad hoc chairperson, who is going to be responsible for contacting all of those organizations, asking them if they have any objections to us taking that money, and putting it in a scholarship fund for some young person.
And any of the swag we sell that's attributable to March March.
Well,
Yes.
I have my hand up too on that.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
Not
Okay.
necessarily regarding the scholarship, because another thing that came from that project that was pretty remarkable was Chris put together a group of people who bought books about voting for the libraries. And honestly, like, that has more legs than the scholarship. That touches more people's lives than the scholarship does. I mean, I guess the scholarship does when the person finishes, they become their career and start touching lives. But I would just say, I'm not real comfortable, like, just right now, just saying it's for the scholarship, because there was something like that, like, we could consider. And then the other thing would be, if we were doing scholarships, it has to have like the DEI lens that Eli's helping us learn about, applied to it.
Okay, so for right now, let's that ad hoc appointment stands, and then Anel, when you talk to these people that are still participating or have not pulled out of it, if you would get their take on how to spend the money, maybe we can do a combination of books and maybe a scholarship here and there, see what they say about it, and then would you bring that back to us at our
Sure.
next meeting? Okay, all right, I appreciate that. Does anybody have any objections or additional comments on that? Okay, so let the record reflect, Liz, that she has been appointed to an ad hoc committee to determine the disbursements of the funds. Okay. I think that and I'm asking if everybody would be willing to, if you have a Facebook page or something, to post just a post on your own in the morning or tonight, reminding people that tomorrow is voting day, and just if they could go out and vote, make sure that they go out and vote. If you would do that, I would certainly, that's my request from the president's chair to everybody, to just do a Facebook post, and all your friends can see it, and remind them that it is voting day tomorrow. There are some voting places also. I'm not sure if it's going to be more for tomorrow's voting than it was for the early voting, but I did on my Facebook page, I did a screenshot of what they had at the on the website for the voter registration. And it gave all the places that had it. And so if you could figure out some way to post something on your Facebook page, I would certainly appreciate that.
Thank you. I'm still kind of stewing on the election places. Thank you. I have to vote tomorrow, but it's offensive to me that they ask the two parties for recommendations when, for instance, I'm an independent. And so what are they
Okay.
asking us? Why, when we go talk to the elections clerk, wouldn't it make sense for like the League of Women Voters to be have a voice in this decision and make recommendations as well, because we are nonpartisan? I don't like that parties pick where we vote. That makes no sense to me. I mean, I get it a little bit, but not just, if that's like the reason that we're basing our decisions on where we vote because we asked the two parties, that's just not right.
But Julie, aren't they running, their primaries are put together by the two parties? Isn't that correct?
Yeah, but I mean,
Ally's got
I pick I don't always vote in the same primary. So I don't.
Yeah, understood. Sally had a question or something.
Sally.
I think there's either a law or rule that puts together that committee. And the rule is that the committee is composed of, I think, whoever the elections administrator is. In our case, in Nueces County, it is the clerk, and then it would be Kevin, and then the two chairs of the two parties.
Mm-hmm.
But why not ask to be friends of the committee and attend those meetings?
Yes, that's a good idea.
Well, I don't want to hold y'all up. Sorry, I'm just doing on it.
I think that's a good idea, and it's certainly a rational objection, Julie.
Yeah.
So Julie, now I will say this: if you talk to Kara, or if you and I would like to go talk to Kara or whatever, just know that they guard Kara like Fort Knox. When I went to talk to her, they were all standing around at the desk, and I kept saying I need to talk to Kara. And they were just standing there like looking at each other like what my request was something foreign. And I can guarantee you. Well, anyway, she finally came from out of her perch or wherever she was, and she talked with me. But I was really, when I went to ask, I told him who I was. And the little guy that was down there when we were verifying those machines, he was standing there. They all knew who I was. But they seemed to be like, oh my goodness, what is it? It's like I've come to, do harm, and that's not what I wanted. I simply wanted some questions answered. So
that really lets us know we should go talk to her more, if you ask me.
That's right. That's right. So she can kind of get used to that and fielding our questions. And also maybe go in, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 is more intimidating than one person. But I certainly didn't, they didn't make me feel welcome there. No. And but I insisted that I needed to talk to her to get those questions answered. So
but we should always have 2, because you need a witness. That's why she has somebody around her too. Like,
yes, she's got somebody always around her. You're right, Alex. You're right about that. So anyway, if there are any other concerns or comments? If not, I'd like to get a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
So moved. This is Eli.
Eli?
Second, Julie.
Okay, Julie?
We've
It
lost
has been
Liz.
moved in second that that the meeting be adjourned. If there are no more concerns or comments, the meeting stands adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for being here and for participating and giving us some time. I really do appreciate that. Meeting was adjourned, Madam Secretary, at 6:34. We're just 4 minutes off of our target. Listen, thank you guys for being willing to be timely, and I appreciate every one of you. It takes a village. So we'll see you. Thank you, Anel, for hosting or making sure that we stay online. Okay,
Thank
Okay.
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
everything. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Always,
Yes,
always, 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 always. Thank you.
yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, everybody.
It helps
right.
a lot
Ellen?
when you use the right passwords.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Yes.
And
All right.
Alex,
Thank you
we're
so
very
much.